Something I've been dwelling on a lot lately, and Brian, you've been present for a lot of it.
Yeah.
MOBAs make me like really angry.
Oh yeah.
Angry, not sad.
Not
angry.
It's kind of sad
Both.
too. Like we talked a little bit about this when we started doing the show. Like, oh man, we yell at teammates. Like, what's the angriest you've ever been playing a MOBA? But I sometimes am like, man, like I shouldn't be playing this. This is like I'll have a really good night and then end on one bad game and go like, man, why did I play all night? Yeah. Why did I bother?
This is unhealthy
This
to my
sucks.
If it was
state.
anything other than a video game, you'd be like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I would stop. I would cut it out of my life. And at the same time, it's like I get so much from the competitive aspect of playing Dota. Like I love playing League of Legends, and I really enjoy the competitive aspect of that, and I do love spending time with the people I play with. But why do we play these games if they make us so angry? Like at each other, at the game, at the community. Like why do you bother playing these games if they make you so angry? Like let's dive deep into your psyche right now, Brian.
Me specifically?
Yeah.
Into your brain.
Oh man, I'm really scared.
Tell me your secret.
Well, so I play because
That was the deep dive into Brian's brain. Thank you.
that's all that's in my head.
That was
at
you
all
entering
times.
your own brain.
I had to get through the layer.
We have to go deeper.
I do it because I mean this sounds kind of boring, but like most games aren't that way for me. Like every once in a while there'll be a terrible game where, and the worst ones are where I can almost kind of point the reason we're losing to like one or two people. Like that happens sometimes.
You
not all
just
the time.
sneered at me. What was that?
No,
He went
no,
one or two
wasn't that-
people.
Mitch.
Looked right at you. One or two Mitch.
Those are the worst. Those are the worst ones. But the reason that I'm okay with that is because even though some people would get really angry at each other, most of us are just like good enough friends that like if something bad happens or if we get a little like irate, we just kind of it just goes away the next game. We just somehow work past it.
So what is that? What is that thing that cleanses it? Because I agree. I think that we do have that. Like you settle and you're sitting there and you're like, it's just like you have this bad sinking feeling about the game or about the people you played with. But the moment you queue again, it's like, okay, fresh slate.
Yeah, MOBAs are weird like that. Like if I'm playing like a really intense match of Dota, it's like you're like being held in a bucket of water, like your head's underwater. Like
Jesus.
playing
Wow.
Dota in like a really intense,
Okay.
scary. It's just like this is the most important thing right now. All of my brain power is focused
Right, you're
on
not
winning this
thinking
game.
about anything else.
Nothing is happening outside of me.
Yeah.
And then like once you're done, you just like get to breathe for a little bit, and for whatever reason, just a few minutes between matches is enough for me to just kind of
To collect yourself.
the woosah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My girlfriend can always tell whether I won or lost by the way I like.
Wow.
Take my headphones off. Yeah.
If you let it linger and like
Yeah.
if you carry it with you into the rest of your
You
life,
can't do
you
that.
can't do that.
Yeah, no, that's the big thing is like
Yeah.
I get kind of bummed out when we play and we'll like in our Skype group or the TeamSpeak server we're in where it's like you can hear it in people's voices. But then the moment I turn it off, it's like, all right, time to go live my life and like go grocery shopping
Yeah.
and hang out with my girlfriend. It's like it's gone.
The-
And it's back to just being normal again, right?
For me, the highest highs of MOBA are better than the lowest lows. Like the lows never reach the same high you get from playing awesomely or something.
Yeah,
like
and I
that.
think that's kind of the easiest and best and most logical answer is that the success conquers the defeat in a lot of ways. Like exactly that point. Like you suffer through a lot of the defeat, knowing that when you win or when you have that great game, it's going to make it all worthwhile.
And I think we even talked about a game recently where it was the Techies and Venge game that we played with Rupli,
What a stupid game.
like a month and a half ago at
Yeah.
this point probably. And during that game, I got pissed. Like I hadn't been that angry.
You turned your mic off. We were streaming, and you turned your mic off because you didn't want to be like heard.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wasn't even like swearing or yelling in my house. I just didn't want to.
You were just not talking.
I just didn't want to communicate at all. Like,
Let's just lead into this a little bit. You got killed like 7 times.
We got picked off
lane,
really,
right?
really
and
badly. early on.
to be fair, I wasn't playing that well. Like I hadn't I had just come back from holiday break, and I hadn't played any MOBAs or any video games in like almost a month. Like because I'd been gone for a really long time.
It's like welcome back.
Yeah, and we played this game, and it was
bad for 45 minutes.
It was real bad, and eventually I just turned off my mic, and I talked about this before, but I just focused, and then I started pushing things out, and my mind kind of wandered, but not in the way that it was like I'm not paying attention anymore. It was just like, well, this doesn't really matter. Like we can lose this game. We'll go on to the next one, and that's how I started to feel about like I played some league ranked this weekend, and like I was losing pretty badly, and I was like, does this really matter?
You guys both had some pretty rough experiences with that, right?
Yeah, tell me about that.
Oh God.
Because that's not a thing. Like, we have ranked matchmaking in Dota, but
Yeah,
there's no, like, placement.
So I'm a solo queuer, and in my defense, I'm not very good. I know I'm not like a pro, but the rank system in League is so broken. Like, you depend so much on teamwork, and then I know it's prevalent in higher rankings, but in the lower ones, it's way more prevalent. It feels that you get these AFKers and these people that DC that just completely screw up the game for you. Like, okay, cool, now I'm gonna spend.
So they're jumping into your placement matches that determine which
it's the same function in Dota as like ELO hell, like a super low ELO that you're.
I mean, our friend Nick is there a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Poor Nick.
I'm actually, even though I'm whining kind of about it, I'm not a subscriber to the idea of ELO hell. Like you are where you belong. But even if you are where you belong, you still can't climb up further when you're fighting 4v5 or like 3v5 in some situations.
I think that's the concept that I believe in as well. It's not the actual that like because you suck you're gonna continue to suck. I think that there's a high percentage that the people around you either don't care enough and they're just messing around.
They're just having fun, which is a valid way to play the game.
Yeah, but when you're I think you're trying to improve, which a lot of the that's why I play is I want to improve.
Get better.
I want to get better. And like for example, in 3 of the games that I bought or played, people did not buy a Sightstone, the support, which is like
one of the key.
Got to get that vision.
And it's the most efficient item for a support to build because it gives you health, which you need as support to become tanky, and you get free wards every time you go back to base.
Yeah.
Like there's no more gold efficient item in the game in terms of like, hey, this will make you not die. Don't feed. Buy a Sightstone.
Yeah,
and that's me getting angry about it.
No, I get really angry. Like I get super angry. I to the point where my girlfriend's like, "You should go outside or something. You should go see the sunlight."
That doesn't make it better.
It doesn't. No.
See, I disagree. I think stepping away from it really does.
The stepping away makes it better. Someone telling you to step away.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, my girlfriend's awesome. She's pretty understanding about it because she knows it's like something I'm really into. But it just makes me so damn mad that these people can completely waste your time. Like, I don't have a lot of time to play video games. Like, I still play way more than I should. But if I've only got 3 hours to play and I get 4 or 5 games in it and 3 of them have AFKers or DCers, like, it completely screws it for me. I think Riot should, like, when someone shows that they've AFK'd or DC'd from a game, the first time they do it, they should be separated into a pool of players that have statistically shown that they AFK or DC. And then they have to go like 3 to 5 games not AFKing or DC before they get to play with the rest of the kids.
In Dota, I believe it's 2 disconnects within 30 days, sends you to low priority, where you then have to earn your way back with 3 games.
That just sounds amazing. Maybe I should just start playing Dota because this is like, it's really getting on my nerves.
You make it sound like the majority of your games are unpleasant.
I think that's just biased because the most memorable of my games will be the unpleasant ones. Like
Good point.
It's true. Like, you remember bad things that happen. It's like a relationship. Like, when it's over, you're like, all you think of is the good stuff. But when you're in it, you're like, oh, I can think of all the bad times I've had. Like, it just makes me super angry because I'm getting older and I don't have a lot of time to play.
Sure.
And then all my time is wasted.
5 stack.
Yeah.
It works a little bit differently in League, where if you're doing a 5 stack in ranked, it's ranked 5 rather than your solo.
Yeah.
It would say same type
You
of
have
thing.
Party MMR.
Yeah. Party MMR and solo MMR.
Yeah. But that's the thing. All my friends are my contemporaries, and not all of them work at places like IGN or like have jobs where they have a lot of time to play video games. So getting all 5 of us online at one time to play ranked,
it's really hard.
Really hard.
Do you guys have,
Mitch?
go ahead.
No, I wonder about the kind of person that a MOBA attracts. Like, were you guys competitive by nature before you started playing?
Yeah. So
What about you?
No.
Because you never seem like a competitive person.
I played a little bit of sports in like high school and stuff like
Me
that.
too.
But like I was never the person I played lacrosse.
Okay.
That's because and that's not for the West Coast. That's weird. Like that's not a big sport, but I just enjoyed it because that's like something I picked up. But I was never competitive. I just like the aspect of like the kinetic aspect of that sport. I was never like,
Sure.
I have to win every single game. I'm gonna kill it. Like I was like, oh, it's a team sport and my friends are playing, so I'm gonna do it.
So I think you and I might be more on the same page. Like, I'm not a super competitive person, but I'm an extremely cooperative person.
Yeah.
I want to enable people to do something, which is probably why like I would gravitate more
Support.
toward the support role. Like,
That's
I
what I
love setting stuff up so that Brian can go in and just wipe everything. It's like, all right, I made that. Like, he did it, but I made it happen.
Yeah.
The Ravage.
The ravages, the fissures,
Black hole.
black holes. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you said you were like super competitive.
Yeah, I'm really competitive, and that's probably why I rage so hard.
I bet I'm more competitive than you.
No, yeah, really? No. It translated from like I used to play a lot of Halo. I did a lot of like competitive Halo, Halo 2, and then
That's where it
got
started with
into-
me too.
Yeah, I got into I did it before you. I got into
Whoa!
I got into World of Warcraft, and then I basically just Battleground. I leveled up playing Battlegrounds, and then I did Arenas, and then Arenas got really unbalanced, and my friend's like, hey, play some League of Legends. And then I got into League of Legends, and then my life went down the black hole. No, it's just, maybe I am too competitive for not being as good as I want to be, but it's hard for me as a competitive person to want to continue to improve and never seeing the improvement because you're like it's too much to carry sometimes.
I think you hit on it perfectly when you talked about like in the moment you're angry because of you're only focusing on the bad things.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. Like a success is like, okay, we did it, move on. Let's just proceed.
Yeah,
let's push,
exactly.
whatever. But like you have 40 seconds when you die to sit there and think about what you did.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of like you're in that place where you're like, this is all I can think about is the failure.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right. Like you don't really think about the amount of fun you're having and how happy you are and like the satisfaction you get from cooperating with people and winning, even though you're having a bad time some of the time.
And you know, I texted you something like I think about a week ago where I was losing a game, but I played mechanically the best I had ever played. Like where I was like I could anticipate, and it was one of the things where actions became unconscious in my brain.
Yeah.
But I was pulling them off where you're like, oh, that Jinx is gonna ult, and you flash the ult, and then like I was playing Graves and like cued her right in the face, and then dashed back and like just life's like kited super well and like orb walked perfectly.
And it feels good because like you don't even have time to celebrate your success because you're just like time to move on. Like, okay, I got the triple kill icon. I'm like, I don't care. Just get out of the way. I have
You
stuff
get done
to do.
doing that, and you're like,
That was
I
pretty
did
rad.
it somehow.
That was rad.
And the thing is, some people might be different, but I won't like celebrate that. Other people will be like, Brian. I'll be like,
Thank you.
all right, thanks. Let's go. Like
He's like, it's not good enough.
everybody gets one.
One of them got away.
Yeah. I was supposed to do that. That's not special.
I want to put out there that the worst feeling you can have in Dota is being in the late game. You're a super farmed carry. You get picked off. You don't have buyback, and then they come in and start taking your base.
James
while
did that
your
last
team
night.
can't
I did
hold
that
off.
last night.
Last night,
It's the
James,
worst.
James got his MKB. He's standing behind the tier 3s, and he's like, all right, I got it. And they just blinked on him, and he's like, bye, James.
Axe, which is the Darius of League, blinked and then taunted and then dunked me. And I was like,
It was the saddest. Like, and James didn't say a word.
Who were you playing?
That's the worst.
I was
Just that
playing
silence.
Drow.
Oh, so you're
Just obliterated.
Yeah, and I had that was just, and that was that was you dragging me into one more game. It was like, it was like 1 a.m. and we're like, we can do one more game, and you'd been on that streak that night, and I was like, all right, we'll play one more game. And
So look, we're
I still
talking-
don't regret that game.
We're talking about a horrible, embarrassing loss, and now we're all just kind of like having fun about it, right?
yeah, and that's how I
Like-
see it. I think bad games become stories.
You lose 50% of your games. You have to learn to like them.
Yeah.
Like, learn to love losing because you like learn stuff. That's the biggest takeaway I've ever had from Dota.
Yeah.
Like, our friend Jay, who
did
used
you
to work
learn?
at IGM, was like, don't worry about it. Like, just learn. Just take in the information, use it for next time, and you'll win. That's it.
I don't mind losing. I just hate. I do mind losing. That's why. I do mind losing. I just hate when I lose because like someone either like it was unfair, like a 4v5, or someone just made like super fundamental like game errors. Like I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it just makes me mad. It's like if you don't have a pretty basic understanding of the game, you shouldn't be playing ranked. Like it's okay to just go and play some team builder or some draft pick or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, some people just have no game sense. You have like 3 cores picked, and you're like, okay, support time, guys, and then it's like
Yeah.
void.
Yeah,
You're like, okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
you have a team comp that clearly needs tanks, and someone's like, no, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna build an assassin for top lane. You're just like, what are you doing? Like, what don't you get about the?
That was helpful. I'm glad we talked about this.
Cathartic.
It actually. This felt
Jinx, you owe
like-
me a soda.
Maybe I'll play some League tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, you will.